A letter of instruction by Joseph Smith 3 Part 1, 1. In the case of the death of a president of the church, or his removal from office for cause, what would be the position of his counselors? To reply to this question intelligently, it is necessary to ascertain to what office they have been called and ordained. Section 104, paragraph 11, reads thus: Of the Melchisedec priesthood, 3 presiding high priests, chosen by the body, appointed and ordained to that office, and upheld by the confidence, faith, and prayer of the church, form a quorum of the presidency of the church. In section 17, paragraph 1, Joseph Smith and Oliver Cowdery were called and ordained apostles. In section 87, paragraph 3, it is stated that Sidney, Rigdon and Oliver Cowdery were equal to the president in holding the keys of this last kingdom. By provision in section 99, paragraph 6, the 3 high priests who were chosen as the presidency of the church are rated as equal in authority to preside over the high council. In section 68, paragraph 2, these 3 presiding high priests are distinctly authorized to officiate in the ordination of those who are called and appointed to act as bishops in the church, either of the order of Aaron or by virtue of holding the office of high priest. In the Church Articles of Incorporation, Article 1, in the government of the church, there is provision made that the church should be presided over by a first presidency, consisting of a president and 2 counselors. We have already seen how these counselors are chosen. From what is given from the authorities cited above, it is clear that in authorizing the organization of the church, the Lord provided an ample safeguard against imposition upon the people from the improper aspiration of any of the leading authorities of the church, by establishing 3 quorums as checks and counter-checks upon each other, the 3 being equal in authority in matters of importance, neither one of the 3 being paramount to overriding the authority of the other 2. It is therefore reasonable to suppose that in case of a vacancy occurring in either of the quorums, unless such vacancy was of such a character as to reduce the membership of the quorum below the permissible majority provided for in section 104, where it would be impossible to secure an undivided quorum, such quorum in which the vacancy occurred would still hold its unity of power, a majority existing, providing there was a unity in the remaining members of the quorum. Or in other words, that a quorum broken by death or by deposition, providing a majority still remained, would hold its quorum authority intact, and could not be deprived of its quorum authority and privileges unless it should be overruled by a unanimous decision of the other 2 quorums. It would not therefore be reasonable to suppose that the quorum of the first presidency would be so completely broken by the death or removal from office for cause of the president of the high priesthood that such quorum would cease to exist, as a quorum, or its duties to the body as a quorum cease upon the death or removal of the president. The provision is an ample and wise one, as anyone can see by examining the proposition devoid of prejudice, the result of wrongdoing in the past. It would then seem clear that the members of the first presidency who would survive the death of the president would still hold the office of presiding high priests over the high priesthood and be authorized to act in such duties of the presidency in a similar manner that they may do during the life of the president, restricted only by the exceptions found in the law, the most important of these perhaps being the restriction as to the right of receiving revelations and presenting them to the church for the government and guidance thereof. It would further seem reasonable that as these officers were high priests, those whose priesthood warrants the belief that they might receive revelations from God, it would not be impossible that the Lord might speak through one of those who remained in the quorum after the death of the principal, or his removal from office for cause, as it is the privilege of the Lord to speak through whom he will. There could be no danger of the church being misled by such revelations, these revelations being subjected to the same scrutiny by the quorums as those given by the president himself. 2. When would their term of authority cease and what would be the extent of their duty pending the appointment of a successor? Their office as counselors merely would cease at the death of the president, for obvious reasons, but their office as members of the first presidency to which they had been ordained after being called and chosen would not pass until a successor to the deceased or deposed president was chosen, upon which choice properly made by the body a reorganization of the quorum of the presidency would be requisite, their office passing at their report and laying down their office, awaiting the action of the body.